What's going on, nation, and welcome to Bench Break Episode 7, Testosterone. How to optimize your T levels through nutrition and lifestyle. Now, testosterone has become a really hot topic lately, and I'm getting questions all the time of, hey Scott, how can I increase my testosterone levels? And a test boost is really worth the money. And so what I wanted to do is a two-part video series all about testosterone and testosterone boosters. Because at the end of the day, your T levels really do matter when it comes to maximizing your muscle gains. So in today's video, what we're going to talk about is testosterone and the role it plays in gaining muscle. We're also going to talk about ways you can optimize the amount of T in your system through proper nutrition and healthy living habits. In the next video, we're going to break down and analyze natural testosterone boosters to determine whether or not they really work. However, before I even get started with this video, I want you guys to know that there's no secret you're missing out on. There is no way to dramatically increase your testosterone levels for unrealistic muscle growth unless you're taking synthetic steroids. So with that being said, this video is going to teach you how to optimize your T levels in your system naturally to support muscle growth. Testosterone, or T, is the male sex hormone which is primarily produced in the Leydig cells of the testicles for males and in the ovaries for women. But why is testosterone important? It's important because it helps to regulate and influence critical functions of the body. For example, when it comes to fitness, testosterone helps to increase protein synthesis, which leads to muscle growth. Now, testosterone also helps to increase your sex drive, your fat burning, your heart health, and it also helps with your aggression and cognition. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that this is a very simplified version of the process of how testosterone helps with muscle growth. But basically what happens is through resistance training, we cause damage to our muscle fibers. And your body responds to that damage by repairing the muscle tissue with new protein strands. The addition of these protein strands causes your muscles to get bigger and stronger. And this is known as protein synthesis. Now, what does testosterone have to do with this equation? Well, basically what happens is testosterone goes into your system, and what it does is it binds itself to the receptors on the surface of your muscle cells in your body, and that helps amplify the signal that calls for protein synthesis. So basically, if you don't have enough testosterone in your body, your body's ability to signal for more protein synthesis is going to be greatly reduced. Now, also keep in mind that testosterone also stimulates growth hormone release, which is another anabolic hormone that helps with muscle growth. But we'll talk more about growth hormone in a later video. Now, how does your body produce testosterone? Well, I'm going to break this down into a simplified version as well. Cholesterol is your body's main ingredient when it comes to producing T. And what happens is cholesterol is broken down into other intermediate hormones like DHEA or progesterone, which is then ultimately broken down further into testosterone. Now keep in mind that this natural production and breakdown of testosterone is happening all the time. So there's going to be times of the day where your body's T levels are naturally higher and naturally lower. And this up and down in your T levels is going to depend on a variety of factors. Now, I want you guys to keep one thing in mind as you're going out there and you're reading your own studies and articles that talk about how to boost your T levels. And that thing is, I want you to make sure that the measurements are taken over an average amount of time and they're not just a one-time measurement deal. And the reason why I say this is, for example, I could take your T levels right now and then give you some kind of special supplement to boost them, and then I could take your T levels again after you work out, which is a time where I know your T levels are going to be higher anyways, which could lead you to believe that my supplement is what raised those levels for you. So if you're reading studies and articles, make sure the T levels are taken over an average amount of time. Another thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that your body is very smart and it's always monitoring what's going on inside of it. And so with that being said, if you're starting to raise your T levels, your body is going to have to do something to counteract this raise in order to maintain its equilibrium, especially with your hormones. So you could be raising your T levels, but your body could be then breaking those down into other chemical compounds. So just because you're raising your testosterone levels, that doesn't mean that you have more free testosterone to help you with your muscle gains. 94 to 98% of the testosterone in your body is bound to proteins. This helps them become more soluble so they can be transported and stored throughout your body, and to also help protect them from being broken down by your liver and kidneys. Now that small amount that's left over, that 2 to 6%, that's the T that you really care about, and that's your free testosterone. And the free testosterone is what's left over to bind itself to the surface of the muscle cells in your body, like we talked about in the beginning of the video. Remember, this is the process where it helps your cells call for more protein synthesis. So basically, if you're reading a study that says their method or product helps increases your T level, unless it's increasing your free testosterone levels as well, it's really not going to do much for you in terms of muscle gain. Now that you guys have a general understanding of testosterone and how important it is for muscle growth, we're going to go over a few ways that you can optimize your T levels through nutrition and lifestyle. Remember, we're going to be covering supplements or test boosters in the next video. Number 1, keep your body fat percentage low. Stored body fat contains an enzyme called aromatase that converts T into estrogen, which is the female sex hormone. The one hormone you definitely don't want more of in your body. What then happens is a snowball effect where this extra estrogen in your system causes your body to produce less testosterone, which then causes you to accumulate more fat, which then leads to more estrogen and so on. It's a vicious cycle, and another reason why I am not a proponent of bulking. There's no reason why you should have to put on a lot of excess body fat just to gain muscle if it's going to increase your estrogen levels in your system. I believe in lean gains. Number 2, get sleep. Studies have shown that lack of sleep significantly lowers testosterone levels on healthy young men. A recent study showed that getting 5 hours of sleep a night lowered T levels by 10 to 15% after just 1 week. You can easily avoid this by getting around 8 hours of sleep a night. Number 3, lift weights. Studies have shown time and time again that resistance training increases testosterone levels. To maximize your boost, here are a few tips. Lift at least twice a week. Use compound movements such as squats, bench presses, overhead presses, and deadlifts in your routines to maximize the amount of muscle fibers stimulated. You also want to make sure your training load and level of intensity are also high. This is where progressive overload comes into play. Number 4, eat your fats. Fats or fatty acids are incorporated into the membranes of all the cells in your body, including the cells in your testicles, which is where most of your testosterone is produced. Depending on what kind of fats you consume, different fats cause your cells to function in slightly different ways. When you eat saturated or monounsaturated fats, you stimulate more cholesterol to be transported into the cells of your testicles. Now remember from the reaction we talked about earlier that cholesterol is the prime ingredient when producing testosterone. So the more cholesterol you in your cells, the more T your testicles will produce. Good sources of saturated and monounsaturated fats are coconut oil, almonds, and olive oil. Now this doesn't mean you should go crazy on your fat intake, as high consumption of these fats can have negative effects on your health as well. A good rule of thumb is to have 20% of your daily calorie intake coming from fats, with 7% of it being saturated fats. Like I said before, without an adequate amount of fat, your T production will not be where it needs to be for you to gain muscle. Number 5, take it easy on the alcohol. Studies have shown that regular alcohol consumption decreases your natural testosterone levels, so limit your alcohol intake to only a few drinks each week. As you can probably tell, a party lifestyle with very little sleep combined with high amounts of drinking doesn't do much for your muscle gains unless you're on some sort of secret ingredient. Number 6, keep stress under control. Stress releases cortisol, which causes the body to suppress testosterone production. If you have a lot of stress in your life, try to find a hobby or something to do that helps you release stress. This could be reading, sports, movie, gaming, or hanging out with friends. Anything that helps you deload and decompress. I hope this video helped you guys understand the importance of healthy living and proper nutrition when it comes to testosterone production and your muscle gains. But keep in mind that we're only just scratching the surface of testosterone. But after watching this video, you should be able to make some immediate changes to make sure you're optimizing your T levels. Now, if you guys want to discuss this topic more, feel free to join us in the forum sections of ScottHermanFitness.com by clicking on this link over here. And keep in mind to stay tuned as video 2 will be out shortly, talking all about test boosters. For more great tips, exercises, routines, and recipes, feel free to join us on ScottHermanFitness.com. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.